From the Huntington Bank Studio, this is Colts 360.
Welcome to this week's Colts 360 as the Colts prepare for an AFC South divisional showdown against the Houston Texans. Finally, Coach Steichen back at Lucas Oil Stadium after what was about a month of different games on the road, although Berlin was a home game. Of course, it was in Berlin, so I know you guys are eager to get back on the field. What's that sense of urgency in the building this week coming off of Kansas City?
There's a ton of urgency. Obviously, a division opponent at home. And like you said, it'll be great to be back home in front of our home crowd. Division opponent, obviously, they're playing really good football these past 3 weeks. So we got to be ready, prepare like crazy, and be ready to go.
Coming off of last week, I know that there are plenty of things that you guys will work on cleaning up over the course of the week, but when your defense only gives up 20 points in regulations to the Kansas City Chiefs, what are the good that you take away from that?
There's a lot of good. Obviously, getting the 2 takeaways was huge, getting the turnovers, the red zone stops. They're 1 for 6 in the red zone, so credit to that. That red zone defense was huge in that game. So I thought they played their tail off. I thought Pratt had a hell of a game. I thought Latu, obviously, getting the pick was huge. So there's a lot of good there.
And thinking about Latu, like what a statement to open up the game and have a play like that early create a takeaway and kind of stall out their offensive. And for him, he was excited, of course, about the interception, but afterward I learned he was actually mad that he didn't score on the play. How much of an indication is that of his competitiveness? And how much do you love to hear that although he made a great play, he still felt like he could have given his team more?
Yeah, no, I love the play. They were running the RPO back there, backed up, and, he dropped and got the tip and then the pick. And then obviously he was trying to run and get in there, and then his elbow just hit on the ground. Otherwise, he would have scored on that play. But that was the competitive nature in him to try to go score. In that situation.
I always got to deliver the stats for you. That's his 3rd interception so far of this season. That's now tied for 3rd most by a defensive lineman within a single season in NFL history and most by a Colts defensive lineman in franchise history. How indicative is that of the strides that he's taking, and how much of that is instinct versus preparation?
I think it's a little bit of both. There's great instincts, there's great feel. Obviously, as a DN on the one he picked against Kansas City, he's on the line of scrimmage and gets his hands up, tips, gets the bat, and then the other ones, it's a great job by Lou scheming him up to drop him into coverage to get those interceptions. And that's his athletic ability, taking fold, in all those games and making plays and, having great vision on the ball.
So good to have Mooney Ward back, and he comes in his first game, I think, since week 5, comes up with a fumble recovery, a huge play. Zaire forces it out. How for him, all he's done and gone through to get back on the field, how much satisfaction was there in that, and how much can he build off of that as he's getting his confidence back?
Yeah, I think he'll build a ton off it. Obviously, it's great to just get him back out there first and foremost, obviously going through the concussions, but to get him back out there and to see him flying around and making plays and to add him to the fold with Sauce, on each side, I mean, that's huge for our defense.
You mentioned Mooney and Sauce. It's the first time we've seen those guys out there alongside Kenny, Cam, Nick. How much do you expect that group week in and week out to just continue to incrementally grow together?
Yeah, I think they're definitely going to grow together. Anytime you play together, the more repetitions, the communication continues to get better, and it evolves and evolves and evolves. But when you got those type of playmakers on the back end, it's going to help your defense.
I also want to take a minute here for some special teams recognition. I mean, Amir Abdullah, 4 returns for 106 yards. Anthony Gould, his first game back, 3 punt returns, and then also had a 26-yard kickoff return. Rigo Sanchez, 5 punts inside the 20, a season-long 59-yarder that came in the 4th quarter. How much of what those guys do and the impact they have gets a little bit overlooked sometimes?
It's huge. I think a lot of people, you look at like hidden yardage and stuff, especially special teams, like those returns are huge for us to get us in good field position and obviously to get the punts backed up to make their offense, go the long way. But credit to the guys up front protecting, on those returns, and credit to Rigo and the guys up front protecting him, but Rigo with the ball placement and the punch, to get those things down inside the 10.
And looking at the offense, what are the areas of focus this week where, hey, it's another week, another great defense that you're going to go up against, especially a couple of really strong guys on their defensive front?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it just comes down to execution, focus, and just the communication week in and week out. And I think our guys will be locked in, ready to go. We're playing a hell of a team this week, especially defensively. Statistically, they're the best defense in the NFL, and they got 2 premier pass rushers on the edge that are playing really high-level football. So we got to come in, be ready to go, and play at a high level.
And this is a group that was not only so confident in themselves coming into the season, but they've also said so much about the investment in playing for one another. Each week, even when they go through the adversity, when we go and we talk to the guys, in the locker room. They're like, oh, this doesn't rattle us at all. Like, we know this is something that we're going to be better for. We're going to, we're going to get better because of some of this adversity. How much of that will be put on display and how they respond, in particular this week when you're beginning a very, a critical stretch here of games, especially against the
Colts? I think anytime you have a setback, the way I look at it, it's always a setup for the next opportunity, and you learn and you grow from those, situations that you go through throughout a season. There's going to be highs and lows, and you learn from them, you grow from them, and you stay steady throughout the process, and you get back to work and you prepare the right way and get ready to go for each and every opponent. And
it's a holiday week. You guys are focused on the game and all of that, but you will, of course, guys will have some time to be with their families on Thanksgiving Day. And I think back to, Thanksgiving and having football on Thanksgiving Day is one of those really early sports traditions that you remember, like growing up before you really had as much kind of focus on maybe NBA on Christmas and all of that. Do you maybe implore your guys at all, or do you take some time when you're watching football on Thanksgiving, you're sitting there and you're enjoying it, you're like, man, you sat there at one point in time and you dreamed of the opportunity to do this, and here you are and you sit and you're actually living it and doing it now? Yeah,
it's pretty special. When I was at the Chargers, I was fortunate enough to play on a Thanksgiving game. We played the Dallas Cowboys, and I thought that was pretty cool, to be a part of that on Thanksgiving Day and the tradition and the families getting together and be thankful for so many things in life, and the support that everyone, your friends and family, I think all that's huge, and I think Thanksgiving is just a special day, for everyone involved, not only just football but life.
Coach, appreciate the time as always. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Still ahead, Colts cornerback and team captain Kenny Moore II discusses the emerging dynamic within the Colts secondary and the special reason behind his My Cause, My Cleats this season. That's next.
On mental health, because it really does mean a lot to me, and everything that I've endured personally, and it was just perfect for me to do it.
Enter now for your kid's chance to be Junior Blue at the next Colts home game. Visit Colts.com/Meyer Junior Blue to enter today.
Forte Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, proud orthopedic partner of the Indianapolis Colts. At Forte, fellowship-trained physicians and staff provide comprehensive, specialized sports medicine and orthopedic care to active patients of all ages. To learn more, visit forteortho.com.
Welcome back. Joining me now on Colts 360, Colts cornerback Kenny Moore II. Always great to have you back in the studio, especially on a big week like this. Back home, finally, first time in about a month that you guys are going to get to play in front of your home crowd at Lucas Oil Stadium. And this is a different look Colts defense, this secondary now, a second straight week having Mooney back, and now you add Sauce into the mix as well. How do you describe the dynamic now of having, those guys back in the mix with you alongside yourself, Cam and Nick?
Great. I mean, you said it with the additions that we've had this year. It's kind of been a roller coaster of, personnel. We've had so many different starters in. I mean, myself, I haven't been, it'll be my first time back in Lucas Oil for a long time now, maybe 2 months, I'm not sure. But, having Mooney out, obviously getting Sauce from New York, there's a lot of moving pieces in the back end. And, everybody just got to stay ready. We've been preparing very good the last couple of weeks, just trying to get the win, trying to put the team in the best position to win. So the preparation has been really good. I think for my role on the defense, I'm getting used to, the communication between Sauce and I, or the communication between Mooney and I, making sure, where's Cam in the midst, or where's Nick in the midst. And I think the chemistry, we're still trying to dial it all in. And as a secondary player, it's more so about the swagger and the the presence, the identity of how we want to be seen on film or as a collective unit on the field. So we still trying to sharpen that within the walkthroughs and practice, and making sure it looks good on Sunday.
With all of that, everyone just creating that chemistry, getting on the same page, dialing in the communication, where do you look to see, or what is like the vision of what you see, the strides that you guys can make week in and week out, and where this group can be with a couple more weeks collectively working all together?
That's a really good question. I think we have to kind of claw and scrap for the ball. We gotta get some turnovers in the back end. We want to do the celebrations. We want to do all the things that are fun that football brings, but we got to figure out how to get our offense the ball, as many times as possible in the game. We got to be able to try to, move the momentum within the game, really dictate how the game go. And I think that's going to start with, us giving the D-line another second to get to the quarterback, and obviously with them working with us to, getting some tips and overthrows, or just kind of scheming up the offense, or just really just being scrappy guys to go get the football. So that's how we know that's how the game is going to change. So, we just have to do our best to get the ball.
It's that attacking mindset, and that certainly is going to be put on display this week. Huge divisional game. It's also the My Cause, My Cleats game on Sunday at Lucas Oil Stadium. It's been a while since you guys have had a home opportunity for the My Cause, My Cleats initiative. Can you explain the cause that you chose and why?
This year I chose Kicking the Stigma. It'll actually be my first time choosing mental health. I've done different things that kind of align with mental health, but it'll be my first time with Kicking the Stigma. Probably, I have a opportunity to do, my foundation or something that, aligns with something back in my hometown, or even just a different space in general. But Kicking the Stigma was perfect for me. As soon as, they asked me which organization I was gonna, kind of align myself with, it was easy for me just, thinking about my year, my journey, everything that I've gone through. And I wanted to kind of just shed the light and the importance on mental health, because it really does mean a lot to me and everything that I've endured personally. And it was just perfect for me to do it.
It's so incredible for you to use your platform, because you will help so many when people, see you wearing those cleats, when you're sharing them on social media, to help spread that message and help raise the awareness so that more people, are more comfortable in their own mental health journeys, and they know that there isn't, that stigma surrounding it, because they're going to feel more comfortable talking about it because of the presence that you have, the example that you're setting. You're such a role model in that way. It's going to be incredible to see. Cannot wait to see them on display at Lucas Oil Stadium. I know that they're going to be incredible. Kenny, always appreciate the time. Have an outstanding game day on Sunday against Houston.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Go Colts.
Still ahead on Colts 360, voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor, is back in studio for a Thanksgiving Day themed preview of the Colts versus Texans on Sunday.
This season, Anthem Blue Cross and Blue Shield is teaming up with the Colts to shine a light on outstanding small businesses. Indy is our hometown, and boosting local business is just one way we want to thank this great city. Go to Colts.com/Anthem Spotlight to nominate your favorite small business today. Anthem and the Colts, helping Hoosier small businesses score. Satisfy your halftime hunger with Snickers and enter for a chance to win a trip to Super Bowl 60 at Snickers.com/halftime. It's time for the Forum Credit Union Question of the Week. This season, the Colts are 5-0 at Lucas Oil Stadium and have won 6 straight dating back to 2024. When was the last time the Colts went undefeated at home for an entire season? 2006, when they went 8-0 at the RCA Dome and went on to win the Super Bowl. Visit the Forum Credit Union Fan Forum section of Colts.com to interact with other fans online. Forum Credit Union, helping members live their financial dreams.
Jones out of the gun, ball in the left hash, backs to throw, looking, throws right, caught at the goal line, and that's a touchdown for the Colts. Michael Pittman Jr. with a career-high now 7 receiving touchdowns in 2025. Touchdown, I-N-D-Y, on the road in Arrowhead. Back in to throw is Jones, looking, fires into the end zone, and it's a catch for a touchdown, and it's Drew Ogletree. Touchdown, I-N-D-Y. His first catch in 2025 goes for a touchdown on the road against the Chiefs.
That was voice of the Colts, Matt Taylor from Arrowhead Stadium with a couple of touchdowns that highlighted that game at Arrowhead Stadium last week. But we're looking ahead. We're looking forward to Lucas Oil Stadium this weekend. It's Colts and Texans. It's high school state championship games on Friday and Saturday. And on Thursday to kick it all off this massive holiday weekend, the very best holiday, I think, on the calendar. And it is Thanksgiving Day on Thursday. There will be no further debate. This is it's my show. I'm the host. This is what I say. So
Could if I wanted to.
Mayte, as you are assembling your Thanksgiving spread, let's go with a little bit of a theme. Coming out of Kansas City and the performance, the result we saw.
Yeah.
Let's say if you're equating areas of the Indianapolis Colts roster to your Thanksgiving Day meal, what would you associate the Colts' performance at Arrowhead Stadium offensively to on that buffet spread?
Oh, man, you're putting me on the hot seat here. But I guess if I have to equate the Colts' most recent offensive performance, it's probably to the equivalent of Thanksgiving, where Aunt Gladys comes from out of town. She normally brings the gravy, but this year, for whatever reason, it just was a little bit runny, a little bit liquidy. Didn't hit quite as well as she normally prepares it.
Aunt Gladys be slipping.
That's it. For whatever reason, it just the ingredients just weren't there this year for her, and that was kind of the case for the Colts against the Chiefs. They had 20 points of total offense, and we know how the end of that game went, right, where they had 4 straight 3-and-outs to close out the game. Unfortunately, the Chiefs actually outgained the Colts 236-18 in the fourth quarter and overtime, and the running game just wasn't there for the Colts. I think Jonathan Taylor was hit behind the line of scrimmage on his handoffs on over 60% of his carries in that game. So unfortunately, the fourth quarter and overtime offensively, it was a lot of stagnation. Give credit to the Chiefs. They ball controlled the Colts for the entirety of the game. The Colts defense was actually on the field for 42 minutes at time of possession when the Chiefs had the ball in that game. So the war of attrition kind of wore them down. And unfortunately, what had been working just did not in this game, kind of like Aunt Gladys's her gravy normally is a little bit better, but this year in 2025, she has to go back to the drawing board.
A lot of the yardage that Jonathan Taylor got were from second effort, too.
No doubt.
So when you're looking at this weekend's performance, maybe you're trying to equate it more so to like stuffing, something that's really solid. It's like that good foundation that kind of brings the entire meal together, It's a good cohesive element there. You're going to stuff the Texans D-line, stuff their defense a little bit.
I like what you're doing now.
Okay, good.
I like what you're doing.
How about Indianapolis Colts defensively only allowing 20 points in regulation for that Kansas City offense?
Yeah, if you would have said that Kansas City for the day is going to get 23, sign me up. I think most Colts fans would take that against that high-powered offense.
2 major takeaways in there.
Absolutely, right? And so I think that was kind of the frustrating part was, the Colts were on defense. They gave up the Chiefs 1 for 6 inside the red zone. It's kind of like to equate it to Thanksgiving, Larry. It's like a burnt piece of turkey. It was prepared the right way. You just left it in there just a little bit too long. Like the preparation was good. The game plan by Lou Anarumo I thought was fantastic, intermixing different schemes. And tip of the cap to Jermaine Pratt. He played all over the place. He had 20 tackles in that game. And it's not like they were just like garbage time tackles and racking up kind of a cheap total. He was impactful in keeping the Chiefs offense from scoring touchdowns, especially inside the red zone, like we mentioned. So unfortunately, like when you're making a fried turkey, you got to prepare it in the oil and everything. You dip it in there. We just left it in there a little bit too long. It came out a little bit fried, and the Colts just didn't make enough plays down the stretch of that game. So again, give credit to the Chiefs, 23 points, but they had some big plays throughout the course of that game. They had a 100-yard rusher and from the backfield, and they had over 100-yard receiver in Rashee Rice. So the Colts gave up too many plays down the stretch of that game in the fourth quarter and overtime.
I'm going to give you one. You know what? If I had to give something to Colts special teams, because you look at Rigo Sanchez, a 59-yard punt in the fourth quarter, the number ones that he pinned inside the 20, the return game with Amir Abdullah and Anthony Gould, all of that, Badgley on the PATs and the field goals. I'm going to say that's like a great role. It's like something that you don't like build your plate around. You're not expecting it, but you go and you grab it and you're like, this roll is fantastic.
And you have to have it to complete the meal.
But it's like, it's perfectly cooked. It's like crispy on the outside, but it's good and like soft and warm in the middle, where it's like that, it's that extra element that kind of like really highlights things that maybe you weren't initially thinking of. You didn't think it would be as big of a deal, but you're like, oh man, this really brought the whole thing together.
See, to me, it's like a nice piece of cherry pie. It always hits.
Pie
it always
Get
delivers.
out of here with your pie. No one wants the pie.
Pie is great.
Nah, I don't. Yeah.
You got to have pie.
Pass.
I mean, Amir Abdullah always
Hard
hits.
pass.
Ashton Dulin always hits.
Yeah.
We're down in punts inside the 20-yard line for Rigoberto Sanchez. Like cherry pie is undefeated, just like the Colts special teams units.
All right, you can have your pie's all yours. But Mate, I do want to talk about very quickly, because before we get to Colts, Texans, and anticipated division battle at Lucas Oil Stadium, high school football will be center stage Friday and Saturday. As someone who played in 2 high school state championships there, just the level of excitement here for Lucas Oil to play host, and those 6 championship games, all of those athletes that will have that moment.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And major tip of the cap to the Colts. The Colts are the presenting sponsor of the IHSA football playoffs and the state championships. It always culminates on Thanksgiving weekend, Friday and Saturday. You got 6 classes. And like you said, I was very fortunate enough to play in 2 state championship games and won them both. And we had a lot of great players, all right? So I'm not tooting my own horn on that. But this is back in the early 2000s at the then RCA Dome. And Larry, I can just tell you, like, what the Colts do, their dedication to keeping the state championship games being played at Lucas Oil Stadium is a major deal to these players, the coaches, the communities, the student bodies that come in and support, to have an opportunity to experience a game at Lucas Oil Stadium, and for those kids to play in the same field now as guys like Jonathan Taylor, and a couple years ago, guys like Andrew Luck and T.Y. Hilton. And when I played, it was Edgerrin James and Marvin Harrison and Reggie Wayne and Peyton Manning. I mean, you just feel like you are on top of the world. I can tell you that, I got goosebumps and sort of had to step outside of myself a little bit. Seriously, like walking or running onto the field, running out of the tunnel from the locker room, taking the field as a junior and senior in high school, and you have that rush of adrenaline and your entire support system there to watch you play in that magnitude of a game. Like, it's something I'll never forget.
Oh, Mate, so excited for this weekend in particular to see you at Lucas Oil Stadium on Sunday afternoon, and to see so many of our Colts fans back at Lucas Oil Stadium as the Colts are back for the first time in almost a month. Know you guys will bring the energy and you will be loud. Look forward to seeing you there on Sunday and back here in studio next weekend for an all-new Colts 360.